Tape marker, House of the Dragon, episode 2. Let's get right to it. Targaryens everywhere. Action. What's going on, Alamo City Movie Talk fans? As always, I'm your host, Ryan D, aka Ryan680.
I'm Angela Kelly.
What's going on, everybody? Alamo City Movie Talk for movie talk fans, or in this case, TV shows. Let's get right to it. Happy Game of Thrones / House of Dragons Day. Happy Game of Thrones Day. I don't care what House of Dragons, Game of Thrones, House Targaryens. Wow, episode 2, which I am very surprised because when we did see, obviously we're going to talk about spoilers right here, guys. So we're going full on spoilers review. Here it is, guys. We're going to bring it on. We're going to get and dissect this little episode here. But episode 2, I was very surprised. I'm going to start off with my only, not necessarily negative, but I was just very surprised how, as of right now, when we saw opening night, it's actually just called episode 2. While the first one's The Heir of the Dragon. So I was all like, wait, I thought they were going to come out with the name of every episode. But again, just small little details there that I did notice there.
But we will say the opening changed to the Song of Ice and Fire.
Yeah, let's talk about this opening here. So this opening is actually very its own style as far as video goes, right? It's the same music we know, and
it's the same style. Like it has like the gears,
and I love how it has like the different blood scenes throughout the whole
blood flowing.
Opening. Yeah, the blood flowing. And I put on comments down below. Do you enjoy that? But we're gonna go on the bat and say like I enjoyed it.
That was real cool. I gotta say that was different because I know we didn't get that in the first episode. Yeah. So like when it opened and it did that, I was like, oh, and then it like brought back the feels because we are rewatching Game of Thrones. Yeah, so it just brought back that same vibe, and I really enjoyed that part.
It's one of those Game of Thrones that's they're those kind of shows where we have rewatched it, or maybe you have rewatched it, and knowing, and sometimes for me, right, it's only certain scenes where you're cleaning, right, and you're cleaning around the house, you're like, oh yeah. Well, sometimes I tend to stop because there's certain scenes that you just love and you just like, oh man, that is so cool. Over and over again, you just rethink that whole image again and you're just like mesmerized because you're just astonished and it's like, wow, this is good acting, good scene, good fight scene and whatnot. But let's get right to it. Starting off with this episode, Angela, what did you think right off the bat? I mean, we got a little bit King Viserys in here. We got so much setup here again. I love it.
We see a big setup of what's going to happen next. So, unfortunately, Emma died. Yeah. Now you see it kind of peaking a little bit in the last episode where they're pushing for him to remarry.
Remarry, yeah.
Next steps. Secured heir, remarry. So we saw he announced, his daughter, as his heir, he kicked him into the curb. And the more pressing issue now that that's established is who is he going to remarry? Who's his next wife going to be? And so you see a lot of more political game as to far as like who would they choose and why? Yeah,
it's a lot of pressure.
What would they bring to the crown? A lot of pressure.
Dude, I mean, come on. His wife, they actually said his wife actually died 6 months before. And he already, he just cremated her. And, now it's like the pressure's on. You need to remarry one of the council. It's like all the councilmen are, getting their... It's a Game of Thrones. It really is. They're like, I want my daughter to be...
And it's really funny because surprising. Damon called it.
Yeah.
I know he's, set up to be this awful character. But he called it. He's like, all of the council is looking out for their own best interest, not yours. They're already pushing things on you. He's like, I'm going to defend you because you're my brother. Yeah. But we see it's true. We see these people come out and they're like, you should marry this because of X, Y, and Z argument. Yeah. Same thing. I think it was the more prominent offer was Corlys and the queen who never was, Rhaenys. Their daughter.
Oh, I love that. The queen that never was. I love that so much. That's awesome.
They proposed their daughter, which, I mean, unfortunately, she's a real small
She's
child.
12 years old. 12. And she said that she... And it's weird because she's so trained. And she's... I mean, obviously, in certain... in this time of era, the women are sexualized to being just an object, really, not really a person. It's sad.
It's women are tools to be married off,
exactly,
and secure things for families.
Again, that's back then how, and it goes back to our our kind of history. They were to form alliances with other kingdoms,
and so
we see that in Disney movies,
and that's the real major offer. Yeah. Is, Corlys has this big fleet. He has a lot of power, not a lot of power, not as much as king, but he does have a lot of weight he brings to the council. Yeah. So his proposal is meant to be to form their alliance, but then it could also backfire if the king says no.
Exactly. That's the thing too, is that it's really it's a real risk, right? Obviously, it's a whole risk. This whole of like, okay, I need my child to be the queen of the realm, and essentially that's what it is. That's what they're gonna be.
And I think King says it's his duty.
Yeah,
he's not doing it out of love or anything. It's his duty.
So the first opening, we're gonna be jumping back and forth here. So the first opening scene, we got the crab feeder here. So we kind of get a sense of this is the villain for now, right? For now, with in the first episode, we were thinking, Matt Smith, he's the main villain. Damon is the main villain here, but it looks like we got a little side action here, and I love that. I love how we're getting.
I like that because they mention it very briefly in the first episode. They say, "Hey, this person's creating a problem."
Yeah,
and they kind of
we see it in the first scene though.
We
see in the first scene the crab feeder taking realm of the navy, taking realm of the ocean or the sea, really
posing a lot of problem to their ships, right? Or to Corliss's ships.
The Navy.
So we see that right off the bat. You see a little bit more of that. We actually see what's a little bit more is going on, which I liked. It was really interesting. Now, where this character goes story-wise, I would be very interested in.
Yeah, and then we see the councilman. You notice how Rhaenyra, she's still the cupbearer. That's kind of like, but it doesn't make any sense though, because like that's how they portrayed women. Like, dude, like Viserys, you just named her your heir, and yet she's still the cupbearer's council. Come on, like I'm just saying.
I feel like
it shows how they see women though.
It does, but I also feel like he sees how smart she is, and she's obviously paying attention. Yeah, she is. She's listening.
Because she does mention, so in that scene right there, guys, in the very opening scene, she does mention like she wants to put her input. What if we did this? And Otto is like, he's starting to annoy me a little bit. Like, he's like,
of the king.
Yeah, he's just like, perhaps her interests should be elsewhere, or perhaps your interests should be elsewhere. And then when that happens, she like. In the first episode though, she kind of what was Kristen Cole. We see Kristen Cole in the last episode, and we kind of see like she looks at him in a different way. She really does. And knowing that he has combat action, she gives her smart, truthful remarks here. It's not even like
as part of Otto's like go away to Rhaenyra,
but it backfires on him.
He tells her, go pick your next Kingsguard, right? Your next commander of the Kings or whatever. Yeah. And you're right. She sees that in a different perspective, not just like all these, decorated knights from tournaments. But she sees him as, you're going to protect my father. Yeah. Potentially me. You've seen combat. Yeah. You have real. You got to remember though,
we're at a time right now in the realm of peace. So it's very rare we're going to see people that have seen wartime and all that stuff. And that's good. That's great. But she's right. You need combat experience, it's gonna be more reliable to have even in our current time. You want someone that has that experience. We're looking for jobs, any jobs. I mean, when you apply for a job, they want you to have experience, not just a school degree, because essentially that's what they're saying here is that, you just play in the games. That's like school degree right there. Boom. You can't get it. You don't have the experience. And that's what I see that as. And she's really smart.
It's very clever to see her point that out. And it's just the beginning.
She's smart for her own good.
She really is. And so I feel like her father, the king, is seeing that, right? Yeah. So he kind of reassures her at some point.
And Otto is just like, well, wait, calm down. Like, he's pretty much saying that, like, wait, calm down. What about these other people? They will be more alliance. I'm all like, wait. And then that's when she says, wouldn't you have someone that's more combat? And I'm all like, do you care more about alliances? Or you care about protecting the king? That's essentially
But you see, you get a feeling, we got a little bit in the first episode, and you get a little bit more in this episode, that he has a lot of ulterior motives.
True.
Like, he does. Like, he
sneakily
does things.
Gave his daughter away to the king.
Not gave her away, but like he's telling her, like, cozy up to the king. Yeah. Look pretty.
Wear one of your mother's dresses.
Yeah, so
man, that was crazy.
You see him, like, say, like, okay, you can pick your Kingsguard, but remember, these alliances are good for the crown. So you can see his ulterior motive a little bit. So he kind of reminds me a little bit of like Lord Baelish.
Okay.
Like, very sneaky.
True.
Like, he has like a lot of
true. I like that. Yeah, I like that.
But like, I mean, obviously, first episode, you think he has the best interest, but the more we see him and what he does and the advice he gives, you're kind of like, who are you really loyal to? Yeah. So I really like that. I want to see where that goes. Alicent, you see her get closer to the king.
Yeah. And at the very end, obviously, he does announce that she's gonna be the new queen. At the same time, though, that's the thing. Rhaenyra just vented to her a few moments, like less the day before.
I think that's why she's so upset.
So she vented to her, saying that the council and then the king and that they're all mischief and they're all like trying to conspire and without her, because they don't think she's smart enough. And essentially that's what they do. They think all women are not smart. And even we see this connection. Let me go back before I go to the ending of this episode. But before that even happens, we see the connection between because they sounded like
Rhaenys
and Rhaenyra. We see that scene, and it's so influential because we get a time to where she wasn't named crown. She wasn't the crown. Yeah. She had a choice. She had an opportunity. And
the council that was summoned chose not to give it to her.
Not her. They chose Viserys. And knowing that she even said, I think there was a quote, again, I'm probably saying it totally wrong because I'm mixing the Dark Knight and all that, but she's pretty much saying that the men would rather see the world burn than let a woman be.
She essentially says that the men of the realm would rather see the realm burn to the ground than have a woman.
I'm thinking Dark Knight, I'd rather watch some men. I just saw that Michael. Anyways, going off subject, that's the Dark Knight.
But it had some truth, so she's still like very convinced.
I love that scene though.
That the realm will not accept Rhaenyra.
Yeah.
They won't.
Yeah.
And so you see that almost like bitterness that she still has.
Oh, it's definitely bitterness. You could tell.
She was passed up.
She is mad.
But
she
also,
is upset.
We see where this is going to set up. So the king is going to announce he's going to marry Alicent, right?
Yeah, at the very end, he announces.
In the next kind of like upcoming, it had been revealed that he has a son with the oldest son with Alicent. So that in itself is going to change things because he has named Rhaenyra as his one true heir, but will the son challenge that power? Will people accept it?
Yeah, and that's another question, is that I don't think so. It's going to be because Rhaenyra is now she's going to be stepped down now because the king has a new son. But we'll talk about that the next... I know we'll talk about that next episode. But right now, before we end this, we're gonna talk about that scene between Matt Smith, Otto, and that huge dragon. That scene between the dragons was awesome. Like I was just like, dragons! There's dragons everywhere.
So Matt, oh my god, Damon character, steals
the show again, dude.
Steals an egg, runs off, and then it's just like blasting. Right, he's gonna choose a second wife, all this stuff.
I never understood the love of Doctor Who, him playing Doctor Who, because a lot of people loved him as Doctor Who and everything. And knowing knowing that he started, that he had his own, career and everything, playing the Targaryen though, like, dude, he is just 100% perfect for this role. So like, I loved his facial expressions and really, really into a sense to his seriousness role where he really gets into it with his niece here, Rhaenyra, and they go where she like literally puts her own life in jeopardy because she's the new heir, and she even says it, I'm the new heir, I'm the reason for this. And she knows as well as he does that I love you, you're my niece and I love you, I protect you. I'm not gonna kill you, I'm not gonna strike you, and she knows that. That's very risky of her though.
That's a very powerful scene because Otto is meant to confront Damon, right?
A peaceful way, really.
But obviously,
it's not working.
There's bad blood, they're not gonna work. So Rhaenyra, in her ballsy move,
decides she is awesome.
To take it upon herself, right?
Yeah.
She knows she can reason with Damon.
Yeah.
She knows that
because they're blood.
Because they're blood. He loves his family.
At the same time, though, I'm all like, the king should have gone, really, because that's his brother.
But I can see why he didn't go, because if he really does go and something bad happens to him, this hasn't cleared up. The realm hasn't accepted Rhaenyra, so that's going to be chaotic, right? So I agree, it wasn't smart for him to go. Should he have gone? Maybe. Was it smart for him to go or to stay behind? I think it was. Now it was totally ballsy for her. To go,
dude, that was,
and it paid off because she avoided the clash, right? There wasn't no bloodshed in this.
I thought there was because his dragon was up on top.
It was
and then her dragon came out of nowhere. I thought it was gonna be another one of his.
I think it would have been too early to like have like a big old clash scene with the dragons.
Well, if it was someone else besides her, Rhaenyra, I think it would have happened. But because it was her and she didn't want to fight him, because let's be honest, she loves her uncle.
They're family.
Yeah, they're family. They seem like they were very, very close. Obviously at the beginning of the episode 1, we saw how close they were, and knowing where this situation has occurred, knowing where all these oh, everyone's just after the crown. We get a sense to where as well that Matt Smith is just like, man, he's stuck there. He really like, I don't know if he knows where he's going. He's
definitely trying to find himself too, but also
that's what I kind of feel for the guy. It's like, dude, like he's stuck. He's not the heir of the kingdom, the realm no more. So now he's just trying to fit in with these other Targaryens.
I mean, you kind of see both sides, which is really strange because Matt Smith's character Daemon, he's poised to be the bad guy, like the one starting the war. Yeah, but like he does have a point. He wants to take a second wife, as it was traditional in Valyria.
And he essentially does in this way.
He wants his future son to be able to have a dragon egg in his cradle, like all of the Targaryens do. You know, so it's like it's not so much he's bad to the bone, like evil. He just wants certain things for him for his like future son than he did for him. So I get
he wants the same not the same privileges really. It's the same like traditions, just like his brother.
And it's really interesting to see where this is going to go.
Yeah,
and it's on the precipice of clash. Right
now, going back to the let's give it to the very end of this episode here, where he did chose his new bride. And the reason why Rhaenyra is upset because she didn't know anything about it. Her friend didn't even tell her. Like, I'm very upset about that. Like, why didn't she just mention it? Hey, I'm like have an interest in your father. That's kind of weird, right? Obviously, that's very awkward.
I think
where do you go from that? Like,
I feel like the father.
Like, if your best friend, your girl best friend, was like, oh yeah, oh by the way, I'm seeing your. I mean, obviously it's a different time right now, but like, if that were to occur and like. It's
that's
a new
weird.
One. At least your age. You're gonna be 30. So at least that age. Still at that gap though. It's like at least 20-something year gap between y'all. So it kind of is weird, right?
It's weird.
But without anyone knowing though, it's like without her mentioning.
I feel like she feels betrayed because she has been venting to her friend this whole time. But also, like you're right, she didn't mention it all. Yeah. But I feel like the king did tell Alicent like it's
true. It's the king's fault too.
Best not to mention that.
It's serious, yeah. I mean,
it's not like Alicent's
and then
fault altogether.
Knowing that a situation did occur and everything, it kind of brought a division now between.
Corlys is not happy.
Yeah, Corlys is not happy whatsoever. So he actually meets up with Daemon.
That was the reveal.
That scene,
that scene at the end where
it's all division,
chatting by the fireside.
Yeah. And I love that. Sorry, I love that. I love that where Matt Smith is literally like he's talking mad crap about his brother, but the minute he starts talking about Corlys starts talking about his brother, he says, I can only talk about my brother, not you. Yeah, because essentially he's all like, he's my brother. I'm the one that can talk crap. I'm Targaryen. You're not. Got to remember that. Granted, remember he's not Targaryen. As much as they portray him to be like in the books so far, in the books he is not Targaryen. So no, he's married to Targaryen. He's married to Targaryen. Yeah, Rhaenys. But he is not Targaryen. Again, they might have changed it for this series. We don't know yet because it kind of like. No, it doesn't because remember he mentioned his family. So he's not Targaryen blood or anything. So that's why I kind of feel like, okay. So that's why I kind of feel like Matt Smith's very, very defensive on the House Targaryen house.
Well, not just that, but it's like I feel like all people with siblings are like that. Like I can talk smack about my brother, but as soon as somebody else does it.
Yeah, I'm the same way. Yeah.
Like, yeah, so I feel like it's
not about my brother, but my cousins. Really, it's more cousin drama.
Right, but I mean, but it's like we all relate to that in a certain sense. Yeah. Like, yeah, we butt heads with the family, but at the end of the day, we love them. So same thing. Like he still loves his family. I think so. But that scene at the fireplace, obviously, Corlys is betraying, and setting up to betray, doing something sneaky.
Yeah, so. I think, and we set up to where he's gonna actually. It looks like on the next episode, it looks like Daemon is actually gonna fight off the crab feeder when the king doesn't want to, because the king doesn't want to start a war. And we get that sense a little bit here. We get that little relationship.
I get more of a less pressing sense of urgency. Like they don't take it seriously.
I don't. And he even said it like that was not his strong suit. And Corlys is all like, "What do you mean?" Or no, he doesn't say that, but like he just says, "What? What do you mean?" Like in a way, and he's all like, "To be king, that's not his strong suit." And he mentions that, and then so it kind of brings light into it a little bit. And then we get to see. Let's jump back real quick. We're mentioning all the main plots here. Of course, what I did love that was very sentimental was a scene between father and daughter there, Viserys and Rhaenyra. and we see how they're sharing that grief there.
Yeah, they're finally talking, because the whole
they haven't really talked.
They
haven't talked in 6 months. Can you believe that?
They haven't really talked per se.
Isn't that insane? They have dinner and like they're like right across from each other, and they haven't talked in 6 months. That's just insane.
I feel like they've talked, but they haven't really
had a conversation.
Yeah,
a deep conversation.
A deep conversation.
That's insane to me. That's astonishing.
That scene that you're talking about, that really is something they both needed, because she needed to know that her father was still there for her.
Yeah.
And that he wasn't like over his mother, like ready to go. Like he still loved her mother very much. So I appreciated that scene. It was so powerful. It was great to see that.
I love that.
And she basically says that like it's okay to like remarry.
Yeah.
So she knows
what she should have said, and they mentioned it at the behind the scenes, of which I love watching, was that what she should have said. I'll be okay for you marry not my best friend. I'll be okay for you to marry anyone else, because essentially it looks like she thought he was gonna marry the
little girl.
Yeah, the little girl. Yeah, Coyos' daughter. So it took everyone by a blindfold. I even think it took Otto a little bit by a blindfold a little bit. I think so.
No, I didn't think he was surprised. I just think he was like...
He was smirking, right?
Yeah,
he was
smirking.
Okay.
Yeah,
all right, well,
definitely.
Put all the comments down below. What did you think of this episode? Rating 1 out of 10, 10 being the highest. Angela, what did you think of this episode? I'm going to give this a solid 9.4. And it's funny because the last... it's so hard at a point right now. We're watching House of Dragons. I'm just in love with this world, this realm. I feel like this is going to be a 9 and above all the episodes, man. It's going to be very hard to say, is it a terrible episode? Because this episode is truly what TV is all about, guys. And you obviously, the moviegoers out there, the TV goers out there, this is the number one show to watch. It broke records for HBO Max. It broke records for HBO. It broke records on everything. Billions of people watch this show. Put on comments down below. What did you think of this? Angela, what did you rating out of this?
So I won't rate it that high, just because for me there was a lot of shocking moments, like, oh my god, I can't believe I have to rewatch it. So I'll give it a solid 7. Just because
dude.
I feel like this was a very good setup episode.
Yeah.
So there wasn't a lot of action.
Or I'm shocked. I'm shocked. But see, okay, I'm for the action. I really am. I love it. I'm excited for next episode. Next episode, I'm probably going to give it a lot higher rating, anticipating that. But all regards about that, I love setups like this because it gets I dialogue here. Yeah.
But I feel like I want to save my 9s for a truly phenomenal episode.
Okay. I can respect that.
But I agree. This was a very good setup episode. It was necessary because we needed to know what was happening next.
Yeah.
After
a beginning, middle, and an end. And he left us the ending, of course. Every episode leaves us wanting more.
I think that was the only shock, was seeing that conversation between Corliss and Matt Damon's character.
That was good.
I was like,
that was good.
Oh, that was really the only thing that shocked me.
Sucks after waiting another week.
I know.
It sucks, but
overall, I enjoyed it. I really did.
Yeah, awesome, guys. What did you think of this episode 2, guys? Put on comments down below. Did you love it? Give us a thumbs up on a review. Did you love it? Hate it? Were you just like, Let us know in comments down below, guys, because this show and this hype is for real. As always, I'm your host. And if you have not already, once again, if you have not already, like, share, subscribe, hit that subscribe notified to get notified on our movie reviews, reaction videos, and all that stuff. And you listen to us on podcast platform. Thank you so much. Go hit us up on YouTube, guys, to get notified on our YouTube reviews that we got going on. As always, I'm your host, Ryan D. Ryan680.
Amanda at that cat at the end.
Stay safe, San Antonio. Catch you later. Peace.